Hi, I wrote my book Hank the Hungry Monster to help a child with contamination OCD, or any other OCD for that matter, because I've actually supported my own daughter with contamination OCD, and she had it very, very severe, to the extent it was controlling not just her life but our life as a family. And that's what inspired me to start writing my Mindmonsters books aimed at children 5 to 8, because I'm trying to sort of catch this in the very early stages before it becomes a mental health illness. And it's also to try and help parents and teachers to support a child with contamination OCD. So I thought I'd read a short extract out of it today to give you sort of a taster of what to expect in my book. So there's the first page, and we're introduced to Hank, who I depict as a hungry monster, because I can remember when we were first referred to CAMS, them referring it to a hungry monster, because they said OCD is like a monster that never gets full. Okay, so Hank is settling into his new home. I think I'm going to be very happy here, he chuckles to himself. Hank is a very hungry monster who never gets full. But Hank isn't hungry for food, he's hungry for power. Hank loves to play games, but only games he can win, and he wins a lot. Time for a new game, he thinks. He starts to fiddle with some controls. O, C, D, and replay. Wonderful. They all seem to be working perfectly, he chuckles. Time for some fun. So there, I don't know if you can see, I've actually deliberately named the controls O, C, and D, which coincidentally stand for OCD. And then we come along to the trigger then, because what I'm finding from my experience is there's usually a trigger, an event that's made a child feel so uncomfortable or anxious that they do anything they possibly can to avoid that event happening again. Now in this case, we're introduced to Hattie, because what I try and do within my book as well is try to teach children that there can be consequences to words and actions. So Hattie is a friend too, but Hattie sometimes makes her feel sad. Annabelle often catches her whispering, and then she stops and giggles as Annabelle approaches. Hattie is always lovely to her face until one day, horror, Hattie starts pointing at something on Annabelle's face. "What's that on your nose?" she asks. Hattie is pointing to a bit of sunburn on Annabelle's nose, which is so small you can barely see it. Everyone is staring at her, some are giggling. Annabelle begins to feel uncomfortable. Okay, so there you can see. And this is then what triggers Annabelle to later in the story, she starts washing her face over and over again, because this is what Hank is telling her to do in her head. And within the book then, there is a happy ending to the story, because I show that the power of actually sharing your problems with someone else. In this instance, Annabelle shares it with a teacher, and then they together then decide to try and tackle this monster by speaking up to it. So as I said, that's my book. It's called Hank the Hungry Monster. It's to help children for ages 5 to 8 to control not just OCD, but also any anxiety issues, and to help parents and teachers support children with contamination OCD, anxiety, or any other OCD for that matter. I actually personally sign my books if you purchase them from my website, but sadly that's only available in the UK only, because that's where I'm based. My website is www.themindmonsters.co.uk. But even if you live outside the UK, I've got some freebies on there under the freebie section, where you can download tips and advice that I share based on my own experience of supporting a child with OCD. For anybody else outside the UK, my books are available to purchase on Amazon, the Book Depository, Waterstones, and most other leading book retailers. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching.